And welcome back from the desk below. Man, if you've been watching the show, man, if you recognize the gentleman in front of me, he don't need no introduction. I'm giving him an introduction anyway, right here, man. The gentleman right here, man, when I first interviewed him, man, I kind of beat myself up, man, because I didn't deep dive into his discography. And then I was like, you know what? Right after I interviewed him, I found this group interview that he did with S.O.I. And I was like, damn, yo, he's been doing group interviews way before like I even reached out. So I wanted to reach out and give this gentleman his own episode, man, to deep dive into his career, man. And what's been going on with this guy, man? He's a part of a legendary productive supergroup that he actually had the idea of. Man, I got the one and only back on the show, my guy, the Jerm. How you been, my guy?
My God, good. I appreciate you for having me back, bro.
Of course, my guy. Like I said, man, I'll get you back for a solo episode, and I was more excited too, my guy. So,
Love.
let's start this off, my guy. So, last time we talked, you said the germ had no real significance behind it, though. But with the S.O.I, I was like, spread of infection, the germ. So I was kind of curious, man. With before we get into that, though, is it true that before you got into producing that you started rapping and your man P gave you FL Studios? That's when you became the transition from artist to producer?
Yeah. Shout out to my boy P. We used to have this crew called Lunchbox Beats, and I used to rap, and yeah, it was just my boy P and my boy Keith were already making beats, and my boy P gave me the program, and I just started learning. And like I said in the last episode, Doe's my cousin, so I'd pull up on Doe sometimes, letting him hear some of the stuff that I was doing. He'd give me some tips as well. So, that's pretty much how I got started with all that.
Now, is it true that your cousin Doe like kind of like threw you into the fire of the engineering? It's like, I learned this real quick.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to think the very first session that he like threw me into the
Yeah,
fire. He
yeah,
threw me in the
yeah.
fire a couple times. I think the very first one though was it with Mr. Cheeks
Okay.
from Lost Boys. Um so I did that, and then also Nicki Minaj used to come to the Fire and Ice studio that we were working out of back in the day as well. So yeah, stack bundles coming in and out of there. A lot of
Mazaradi Fox.
Mazaradi Fox. That's how we got connected with GUnit.
Now, before like you actually made the transition from like artist, I mean, sorry, from artist to producer,
Mhm.
were you still rapping under the name The Germ?
Nah.
No, okay, there was something different. Is there like recorders out there we can hear?
I used to go by Soon. So like there's a lot of people who still know me as Soon and who still call me Soon. That's actually my father's tag name when my father passed away when I was younger. But
Oh, okay.
uh, yeah, that was his tag name. He used to do graffiti, so I just took on that name. And
Now,
then
before I should ask this in the beginning though, you grew up in Queens?
yeah, Queens.
How, what's it like growing up in Queens as opposed to like somebody from like, watching it from Canada? Like, how's it growing up in actually New York and then actually being involved in the New York scene, making an impact? Like, how was that for you growing up?
It's dope. Like Queens is very multicultural. Like you got a lot of different ethnicities, a lot of different backgrounds, and it looks sweet, but it goes down. Like you
Oh,
can,
yeah. I
you know
would
what I'm
assume.
saying? You know what I mean? Like the Bronx, Brooklyn, like everybody, you could kind of tell, like, oh shit, like this looks a little crazy over here in certain areas, not all areas, but in Queens, um, I guess you could say the same thing for Queens. It has its areas, but a lot of the suburb areas do look pretty nice, but like it still goes down. So
You made me wrong turn. I was like, oh shit, wrong turn. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean on that.
right,
Yeah.
right, right.
So like even like coming up underneath that, because I understand Lunchbox Beach was still a thing when you were rapping in the Fire and Ice, but like so did Fire and Ice Studios come before like the S.O.I studios?
Yeah. That was like way earlier in my career.
So it's
Um,
two different locations, just so I'm correct.
right. It was two different locations. Shout out to my man Bundy Crumb. That's practically like family, a cousin as well. like Haitians, all Haitians know each other, and we somehow be related somehow. But yeah, nah, my man Bundy Crumb, you know, he was managing the studio, and he was also managing Nicki Minaj at one point, as well as some other artists. And you know, he just knew me from the neighborhood. Families know each other. He was like, all right, cool, you could work out of here. You good? You the little homie. Throw me throw me in the fire a couple times. Did some street DVDs. Gave me some shout outs. You know, always looked out.
So when did the idea come to your head about wanting to form a super group of producers, and then how did it lead to SOI?
So I mean, me and Doe were already like running around and working. So we were kind of already like a team. And then my man Jay Bombaye, he was trying to get into music at that time. And you know, he was getting his feet wet. He was going to school. He was engineering and interning in studios. And then I connected with Beat Butcher just on some random. We just chopped it up on Twitter, and we were like, "Yo,
He's from the UK, so I was like, how did somebody from the UK join us on a super group from the US from Queens?
right." I reached out to him. I used to listen to a lot of Sean Price, so I reached out to him because he did a record with Sean Price. I can't remember the name right now, which record it was, but he did a record with him. I showed him some love. I didn't even really think he was gonna hit me back. He hit me back. He was like, "Yo, I know some of your shit that you should with some of the shit that you did with GUnit," and it was like, so we started chopping it up. You showing love, and then he ended up coming to the States just to, you know, just do some music out here. We linked up, and that's been my boy ever since. So like once we got to meet each other, and
Like
we
in the
always stayed in contact. Yeah, we learned from each other, build off each other. It was just like, yo, bro, I got this idea of putting this I wanted to be like a Wu-Tang of producers. That was really my
yeah.
so that was my idea to put that together. So I had the four of us. I had some ideas of having some other people as well. But that never landed. But you know, it got plenty of extensions everywhere. A lot of people fall under the SOI umbrella.
Because I won't lie, like before like I actually found what SOI actually meant, like I remember seeing Beat Butch, I was like, soy.
You have no idea how many people say that.
And that's why I wanted to ask, because like they may hit you like Jerm. But what's the soy mean?
Right,
So
right. Yeah,
because like and then usually, once I started doing my due diligence, I was like, oh, this guy is actually a part of a collective with the SOI stuff. So I was like, and then I remember when I stumbled across, because I was one that, hey, every time one of my guests appears on my show, I want to look up stuff that they did before. It's kind of weird after. Then I stumbled across that Stardom magazine interview that you, Doe, Beat, and Jay did. It's like a 3-minute video, but I was like, damn, man, that kind of is like, I kind of wish I watched that before we did always, because like, how does somebody like, did you guys have to do like the FaceTime with Beat Butcher a lot while in the studio to actually vibing? Because there's a lot of videos of you guys in SOI studio just vibing.
Yeah. So I think when we did the Stardom Mag interview, that was in Blast Off Studios.
Okay. So different, way different.
Yeah, that was a way different studio, but there is a lot of footage in the SOI studios because once I got
one of the red walls in it
with the red curtains, the infamous red curtains.
I'm coming out there too, because I remember you being a humble person and actually forming SOI now too. Like, how did you approach like Doe and Jay and Beat to yo, I actually want to make this super group of on some Wu-Tang shit, but like how did that go? Because like there was logos and everything I remember seeing at the time. So I'm like, oh, so these guys were really active at one point now too. And what happened after that?
Oh, you mean this logo?
Oh yeah, sir. Yeah, it's fresh. So.
Word. Yeah, I mean, I think I was already in the talks with everyone. Like, yo, let's just form this group. And Jay was like forming a lot of ideas with like the logo. My man P Nam's wife, she's a graphic designer.
Okay.
So she actually designed the logo for us. And we just everything, it was just small steps. You know what I mean? I think the hardest sell that really wasn't a sell for me was Beat Butcher, because like I said, Doe's my cousin. Jay he grew up across the street from me.
Oh
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like I've known him literally since diapers. So those my brothers. So it wasn't no thing for me to just be like, all right, cool. Like let's just do this
Yeah.
group. But B Butcher was like, we're still getting to know each other, and he's all the way in the UK, and
Ah,
he already had, some placements and his own catalog as well. So technically speaking, he didn't really need to join SOI. You know what I mean? But just because of the good relationship that we had, and our sounds were somewhat similar, and then once we started to get to know each other, we started feeding off of each other and being like, all right, cool, like you're like, you got this grungy sound, I got more of this melodic sound, this is how I do this, oh, that's how you do that, you know what I mean? Like we just started to feed off of each other, and then that's how we kind of like came with this more collective sound through the years, you know what I mean?
so have you guys ever produced like a full track with the full SOI team, like produced by SOI, as opposed to like you solo, beat solo, dope solo?
No, it was always the
Yeah,
aim.
definitely gel right there, man.
It was always the aim. The closest thing to that is like the Banks tapes, but obviously it wasn't all us, but
Yeah,
but
majority. So
you look at like Cold Corner 2, or was it V6? Yeah, V a lot of V we had a lot of joints on V6, but
yeah.
a lot of those tapes we dominated those tapes. Um but we there was always the aim to get an artist and produce an artist under SOI.
And so, like, I was curious now that is like SOI still active at the time, or did everybody just part ways, but the love is still there?
Yeah, so the love is still there, but me and Butcher just pretty much waving the flag.
Oh, damn, I would have loved to ask why, man, and produce, man. Like, like, that's why I had to ask because, like, they may have been that one rare gem. It's like, there is actually a rare gem out there for us.
Nah, man. I mean, you never know. The right artist, the right project or whatever, pull things together. You never know what could happen.
Because I think there's a video of like a beat session with like you, Buddha, and Grant's feed on. And I was like, yo, like, it's kind of crazy to see how far everybody came within that amount of time because like you actually, your introduction to G and it was through Mazaradi Fox. But do you think that if Stack Bundles was like still alive, there would be more introduction to the Riot Squad? Because I think it was you or your cousin Doe that was the last person to record him while he was alive.
Yeah. So I believe I could be mistaken here, so don't like quote me on
Okay,
this.
yeah, just yeah, he just
No, no,
that's
no,
it.
no, no. No, no, no. I'll put you on, but like there's footage of Stack Bundles recording in Fire and Ice Studios, and I want to say that that's the day before, or maybe like the week before. I kind of want to say it's a few days before that he ended up passing. Um but yeah, I believe he was coming to the studio heavily, so I believe like we would have definitely been working. And shout out to Bino. Bino always shows me a lot of love anytime I run into him. So I was supposed to Bino was trying to set up some work with me and Chinks right before Chinks passed away. Like I didn't hop on the ball fast enough. It was like a month before. I think Chinks was working on something, and he was like, "Yo, bro, like, give me some beats so we can get it to Chinks." And he ended up passing as well.
See, like for somebody like you, I'm not too sure what like area you grew up. Like, sorry, what year you grew up in. I don't want to put you on the spot though, but like growing up, I'm pretty sure the GUnit Shady Aftermath era had a big impact on you. For somebody who like produced for Yayo and Lloyd Banks, you're pretty humbled because I ain't gonna lie, my G. If I was you, my first record of GUnit with Yayo, Max being French Montana, I'll be a cocky yourself. But it shows that I won't lie, I'll be talking my shit all day, but it just shows the type of individual you are because, like, I had to find that. I remember you had to bring that up. I'm like, oh, word, really? So I was curious, like, what brings that humbleness, like, to your character? Because it's very rare we see that now.
I've always been that way. I had a good upbringing. You know, my family was always there for me, always told me to be humble. But you know, I will talk my shit if I gotta talk my shit.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
please do, yeah. Because I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna try to watch every interview you did, man. I'm like, yo, this guy humble as hell, man. Like, yo, can you just pop some
nah,
shit out?
a lot of people sometimes be like, "Yo, bro, you be too humble." But at the end of the day, like, if it calls for me to talk that way, then I'm gonna talk that way. But for the most part, that's not really in my character to do so because I think the work speaks for itself. I don't need to like uh boast and do anything just to sell you the germ.
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
Now, I heard a lot of wild stories about this gentleman. I remember he had a mixtape. I forget what it was with who kid though. He's right in front of a Mazaradi. Mazaradi Fox though. Like, yo, I heard this guy was a wild man. I ain't gonna lie though. So like I was gonna say, how was it being in the studio session with somebody of that stature? Because like I remember he was like G Unit's like capo at the time.
Word. Nah, Fox was definitely he was definitely a dumb out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anytime a lot of my interaction with Fox it was always jokes, it was always good energy, never never anything bad or anything like that. I've definitely seen him turn up, but you know, just as far as me and him, he had a lot of love for Doe, you know what I mean? Doe, he put Doe under his wing and anytime that I would run into him if he was in the Fire and Ice studio, he just knew me as Doe's cousin. He'd be like, he'd look at me, give me a smile, and be like, "What up, nigga?" You know what I mean? So,
You're dope boy. What up, guy?
yeah. Nah, but he always showed love. And then Doe actually got me. I want to say it was I don't remember which tape it was. It was a street mix. I want to say it was the first dumb out mixtape that Fox did because it wasn't his solo tape. It was a dumb out tape. And I think I had the intro to that. Like Doe had set that up for me as well. Like I was just sending Doe some beats kind of the same way that he did the Yayo record with French and Max. I just sent him something just to check it out and then he ended up playing it and then placed it for me and then got that record done for me. But yeah, nah, shout to Fox, RP Fox,
RP Fox.
Fox.
Now, do you think like an artist like him trying to transition from the street to a full time artist would have been successful? Because like there was a time where I remember G was trying to put Hot Rod out. The Mason didn't work out. The Spider Loc didn't work out. So, where do you think if Fox would have kept up his grind, where do you think he would be? Like, do you think he would have released around the time like Blood Money or Rotten Apple? Or you think it would be sometime after if he was still consistent?
I'm trying to like link up the timelines. I feel like
Yeah,
Fox
right
was
away. Yeah,
after. I'm
yeah.
trying to. I think that it was after Rotten Apple, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, let's just say he would have kept up his grind. I think he would have been, you know, he would have made a lot of noise. He would have made a stamp in the Queen scene, in the hip hop underground scene, the street
Well,
music scene. You know what I
I
mean?
remember seeing like that name. I was like, yo, Mazaradi Fox. I was like, yo, just that name alone. It's like, yo, I need to hear what this guy has to say. I want a friend because I remember that demo tape. So I was like, yo, like, get Spider, like, yo, you're Spider. You tried to charge me for an interview. So my bad. But yo, Spider, get Spider Loc out here. We should have had Mazaradi Fox where Spider Loc was at. But I'm just going to leave it right there. I doubt Spider will see us, though.
Say that again. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
I doubt Spider Loc will see this, though. So yeah, it's, I was curious now too because I understand like you have your own solo discography now too. But like, so I remember checking out Destiny to Riches, man, and some of the artists on there, is it Cali Pop? Cali Pop, this guy right here made me a fan right here. So Cali Pop, you watch it, take this man right here.
Nah, shout out to my girl, my homegirl, Cali Pop. She's an alien, bro. She's like
No,
really, really,
I was gonna say
she's
she ain't
really,
from
really
where?
wicked. She's actually from Canada. She's from Montreal.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah, that's on the way. That's on the opposite side from us. But like, so like, when I checked out Destiny to Riches,
Mhm.
I was like, okay, this was like, I didn't expect this. I was expecting like, some like underground, grimy beats. But I was like, yo, this is R&B right here. I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. So,
Yeah.
but it also shows like the durability of you as a producer now too, because you don't want to stay in a one lane. It's like, oh, I only make one type of beat. No. So with Destiny to Riches though, like curious, like what inspires a project like that too? Knowing like, you work with like, quote unquote street artists and lyricists like, Dave East, Banks, and we get to that, it's like, whoa, this is new. But it's good. It's good because it can put
Right.
people on like me to new actual fans. So what's the process when making an album like Destiny to Riches?
The aim was really just to showcase my producer abilities. You know what I mean? Like I've always held myself to high standards in saying that I'm a real producer. You know what I mean? A lot of beat makers call themselves producers, and it's really two different things. You know what I mean? Like I don't just make beats. I'm in the studio with the artist and we're really building these records and I'm producing these records. Um and like I told you in the last interview, I could do the boom bap street shit in my sleep. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I've been doing a lot of different styles and a lot of different things since I've been putting music out in general. We just didn't have the right artist to do it. You know what I mean? So, I got to a point where I was just like, I really need to showcase my capabilities as a producer and really showcase the people around me because everybody on that album is people that are at arm's length. You know what I mean? Are my homies, people that I believe in, people that I mess with, and yeah, man, I just really wanted to show people the other side of the Jerm.
Right, you definitely did now too, because I was expecting. I'm like, okay, I had my like, Cody ears on, and then when I heard it, I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, you got to hear this with different ears right now to actually truly appreciate it now too. Because with an artist, sorry, with a producer of your stature now too, I think it pushes you like creatively to
Mm.
actually make records like that too. So did I hit the ball with that one?
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Like push you creatively, like to actually make records like that. Did we hit the ball on that one?
Like, did that project push me creatively? Is what you're asking?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Like, I think a lot of people that I've had conversations with about that album always tell me that the energy of that album feels like really, really good. I feel like they always say there's no record that sounds the same.
Yeah.
Um, everything has its own space. Every artist is able to be themselves, but still the project sounds cohesive and has a certain sonic to it. You know what I mean? It
But
all
it's a
meshes
random
up.
compilation.
Right, right, right. So nah, it definitely pushed me into as a producer and to bring my creativity to another level because making a project is a whole nother beast. Like you just said, it's not a compilation of songs. Like if you really pay attention, like it's really a story. Anytime that I do a project, my projects, or if I'm working with an artist, I try to tell a story. So like Destiny to the Riches is really it goes from a dark place to a place of happiness, which is most of the time what a lot of my projects end up being. You know what I mean? Like it
Is it
ends up
spontaneous how that happens, or just kind of the way it goes sometimes?
I think the not that I think the vision was to be that, but ultimately, like a lot of songs that happened before the idea was just like, okay, this fits in this connects here and this can work like this. You know what I mean? So um it was just a great experience. Like me and my homie just we always talk about that album in that year because we had Destiny to Riches I think I dropped last, so it was my homegirl. Well, we just talked about her. We talked about Callie. She dropped her project Neon, and then I executive produced my boy Just album, the Butterfly Effect, and then we went into my album. So like it was a good run for like months. We had like a lot of eyes, and it was just a good. It was just good. Like everybody who's ever came to S.O.I Studios, if they were helping to create or if they were just vibing, they were just you remember that time period, 2018, 2019. You remember that time period.
Because I remember looking up the dates and I was like, yo, this guy dropped just when I came into the game. But when going back to S.O.I Studios, you don't gotta say a name if you don't want it, but I'm gonna ask. Who's the artist that was puking everywhere during the one session? You're like, yo, I can't. I'm not built for this right here. Who's the artist puking everywhere? He was drunk as hell. I remember you said it, but you didn't say the name. You don't have to say the name if you don't want it.
Nah, I'm really trying to remember now because I remember the story vaguely, but I really don't remember the artist now.
Was this at S.O.I Studios or Fire and Ice?
I really don't even remember the artist. Like I'm not even lying. Like I would tell you,
Oh, yeah,
I can't tell the name, but I really don't even remember.
So, like, coming into S.O.I Studios now, too, because I remember seeing, like, clips, and it didn't look like, you guys were playing around. There wasn't no place to, come around and smoke and chill. Like, you guys actually got to work now, too. So, how was it, being young and actually, have an order? Because if you don't have order, what do you have? Like, actually have an order, like, we're actually going to do this. We're not going to hear to screw around. Was it the placements that you already had that gave you the drive? Or is it the ones that you were aiming for that gave you the drive?
To get the room?
Yeah, no. To keep the order, like of actually producing it and not just going there, having the room to smoke and shit.
Right. Oh yeah, no, like listen, I'm militant and shit. Like
okay.
I don't know if you paid attention. Like I pointed to you when you said like creating order. Like I got a group of people who hate the fact that I use that word so much. But ultimately there's no successful story without order. You know what I mean? Like, in that studio, I didn't have a TV. I didn't have video games. At one point I did, but I didn't put it in there. But
okay.
right. But yeah, we got that. I got that up out of there. But ultimately, like when we get in that studio, it's to work. I don't want any distractions. If you're gonna be in that room, either you're contributing or you're just chilling and you need to just chill. Like yeah, you know what I mean? And that's not in a disrespectful sense or like me being like, yeah, it's just not me being a dick, but it's just like we're here to work. So and before S.O.I Studio was S.O.I Studios, it was actually Lunchbox Beat Studios because I had that room twice. So basically,
you had to go back for like 3 years, right? And then you actually ended up getting that same room. It was like, I don't know how this room sounds.
Right, yeah. So it just lucked out, and I was just like, cool. And the infamous red curtains, that was P-Nam's idea. So he hung them up, and then they stayed with the next person who had it, and then I got it back. They were still there. Shout out to my man Reyes. He had the room. He actually just let it go, but
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys actually still have it now.
No. I got rid of that studio. Some things you outgrow. Like, you know what I mean? I had a lot of memories, a lot of good times, a lot of great artists came through that studio. But you just want to level up in times,
True. Well, because the reason why I asked that too, because like from what I could find on YouTube, there's bits and clips of you guys, doing interviews, working and chilling in there. So there was documentation, but do you have like, footage or, documentation that we never saw with that room? Because like, it's like what you said, there's a lot of people that can't. I think like Don Pablo was made in there from Dave East, like Banks came in there, fly like the wind. So like, how many of these moments have you documented, but you just never put out? You just have them sitting there just for one day. It's like, I'm going to put a documentary out.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of footage. I personally don't have a lot of footage.
Okay.
At that time, I didn't have a camera.
Well, I was gonna say you went to man up the camera because I remember even on your YouTube, you're making beats, and I was like, I wonder if he was the one documenting a lot of the things.
Yeah, like a lot of that shit I shoot myself, but that's in my home studio.
Okay.
But yeah, at that time I didn't have a camera, so I wasn't really in control of filming anything in the studio. But yeah, I did not even just Don Pablo, I was engineering and helping the Dave E situation get to where it was before he got to Def Jam and while he was in Def Jam in the beginning stages. So I did the Hate Me Now album. I recorded and engineered that whole tape and as well as Kyrie Chanel. I don't think I'm credited on the streaming platforms, but I
Or
did
you
not.
Elliot Wilson, if you watch, you'll give my guys credit. Come on, John.
Word, niggas is slacking. Like, come on. That's
Yeah,
what
for real.
you know
Because
what I
like
mean?
if they're like me, every time I see a producer, like a song, I'll click like the little album cover and on title it shows you like the credits down to
Right,
the engineer.
right. Yeah, no, it's important, you know what I mean? But yeah, I gotta fix that one of these. I gotta reach out to the label and see what's up with that.
Yeah, because like what the hell, yo? So
Yeah.
one of the things that I like to say now when I put two and two together, I was like, I wonder if he inspired this name because he's still running with this name today. On Kyrie Chanel, you produced Don Pablo.
Hmm.
And then as Dave East's career went on, he started adopting the alias Pablo. He
Hmm.
dropped the joint mixtape with Millie, Blanco, and Pablo.
Yeah.
Did you kind of put that connection together? I was like, damn, this guy's kind of running with like the name of the title of the song that I produced. Like, did you put that connection together?
Did I put the connection together that
You
like
still,
gave him the Don Pablo name?
I don't want to say that you gave him the name, but do you think that that song inspired his
Oh
alias?
yeah, no, without doubt. With no doubt. Yeah. No. That's a no-brainer. That's easily. Yeah.
We
That
got that clear now.
that alias Don Pablo stems from our song. But that's his brainchild. That was, him writing and coming up. I think the Narcos season had just came out. So,
Now,
Pablo Escobar was a thing at that time. So, so
so
he
like
made the song Don Pablo.
after Curry Chanel, because like I was gonna ask you now too, since I would like to say that if we didn't have that Don Pablo track, I don't think he would be calling himself Pablo. So has he reached out after Curry Chanel? Because I know he's on Destiny to the Riches.
Dave?
Yes.
Yeah, nah. We haven't worked in a little while, but I was just talking to Buddha. I was just talking to Buddha the future the other day, and we were talking about getting some stuff done with Dave. So, at any time it can get done. Dave is the homie. I'm so proud of Dave. And,
See it from the start.
yeah, no, I was working with Dave, like I said, from before Hate Me Now, like the build up to Hate Me Now.
Yeah.
So, I had a big part in his career. And, you know,
It's kind of crazy how like you could see someone, that you believed in from the start. Then like years later, it's like, oh, this guy's playing Method Man.
word, word. But he always talked about doing like acting and shit like that. So it was dope to see him do that shit.
Actually, like, because you had those conversations and it's like, whoa, like he actually did it. Like, so yeah, it's good
Yeah.
to see.
Yeah, no, it was dope because I think he did a Netflix movie. I think that was his first role, and then I think he had some success with that. And then
The
he
Wu Tang.
landed the Wu-Tang joint. But I feel like he did another joint as well that I can't remember.
I'm trying to think now too, because I remember I seen him in something else besides American Tail, but it ain't coming to me. Yo, Dave, yo, my bad, yo, for seeing this. But what it also is crazy now too. I don't know if you had connections with Vado back in the day.
Nah, I didn't have any connections with Vado back in the day, but anytime that I see Vado, like anytime that I see Vado, he always shows love, but it usually tends to be like just chilling. I don't even know that he puts together that I'm the Jerm. I don't even really know that he knows that. But
Hey, you never know, though. It's like, yo, it's the Jerm right there.
right. But anytime that I see him, if I'm chilling with Banks, that's usually when I see him. If he's with Banks, he says what up, just show some love. We have good conversation. So shout out to Vado.
But what also I find kind of crazy now too, because it kind of everything that revolves full circle now too, because you working with Banks, you working with Dave. I'm pretty sure they didn't even know each other when you were first working with Davies. But years later, they formed the council with Vado, Davies, and Banks now too. So
Right.
like, I remember because I wasn't around, but were there talks of an actual supergroup with Banks, Fabulous, Vado, and Jewels? Because I remember there was talk of that supergroup on Hip Hop DX.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
forgot.
I feel like it was like a lot of like speculation. I don't think it was a real conversation. If it was very short lived. But
I
yeah,
remember the
I do
DJ
remember that.
drama, the There's No Competition too, and Fabulous added that remix to Bieber, Benz, and Bennett, Feuded File More. It's like, hey, yo, what the hell, yo?
Yeah, no, I remember that time. That would have been an ill group.
Would have been before Slaughterhouse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
See,
Facts.
that's what actually made me actually want to reach out to about the history of S.O.I now too, because I don't know what it is. Maybe I love Wu-Tang, maybe I love super groups, but I love when four people, just strictly four individuals come together and make a super group, like Slaughterhouse,
Hmm.
S.O.I. There's a lot of groups like that now too. But to actually be consistent with it and no egos is very rare now too. Because I remember seeing on your website now too, every time when somebody from S.O.I would get credited now too, they would always bring up the collective now too. Like this B Butcher when he got credited on Rather You It's Me, they're like, oh, he's part of the production duo named S.O.I with the Jerm, Joe Pesci, Jay Bombay now too. So
Hmm.
when other members are getting placements now too, you know, most people, if they don't have a strong will minded, they'll be like, oh, that should have been me. That should have been me. But what keeps you like that, knowing that, you guys encourage each other now too? Because that's what screwed up Dipset. I know this has nothing to do with the conversation, but that's what screwed up Dipset was ego. So what does the no ego play coming to mind too when your other team members are getting big placements like
That's usually the downfall for a lot of super groups, like you said. But I think just for me personally, seeing seeing my brother win, if I'm already attached to it, I'm gonna elevate with it,
that?
regardless if I'm attached to it or not. So like you look at like Beat Butcher, right? He's been doing a lot of work with Griselda, right? If I go to LA, because he lives in LA now, if I go to LA and we're working on something, it's nothing for me to sit there and have a Griselda joint. It's happened and nothing has come out, but we have records, you know what I mean? And a lot of other artists as well. So like if I'm working with somebody, I know I can reach out to him and then we'll plant that seed and we'll grow like that. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason to sit there and be selfish. Um, because if we're really in this together, if I get a look, cool, I caught this look right now. We're gonna sit there and get the next one together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or I'll plug you and you get your own. You know what I mean? Like it's always everybody looking out for each other and really just trying to make this sound and this unity be known and have it be known. Because if for me forming the group was really like, how can I say this? All right. So in New York, right? I feel like the problem with New York is that New York doesn't have a sound.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we lost what our sound is, right? Like so even if we wanted to like stay with what we know, it doesn't get the love because everybody's always chasing what everybody else is doing. New York doesn't try to sound like New York anymore. But for me, SOI was making a stamp and being like, all right, cool, this is the SOI sound. So y'all got to come to us to come get that. You know what I mean?
Yo, now that you say that now too, it kind of puts it in perspective now too, because once again, things are coming full circle when I say this. You working with Banks, the GUnit Shady Aftermath, GUnit. And
Hmm.
Beat Butcher, what I noticed when I really got tapped into him was the Shady album they did with Griselda. What would Sheen Gun do? I was like, damn, this guy is all produced by Beat Butcher, and then West Sides came out, all produced by Beat Butcher, and then Conway had I think like 5 or 6 by Beat Butcher, but Beat Butcher with Shady. Another full circle moment now too, because when something like that happens now too, do you sit back and realize it does come full circle for your team sometimes now too? Because it's like, damn, yo, S.O.I, we did with Shady and GUnit. Did you ever put that together sometimes?
Maybe not Shady and GUnit, but I feel like, of course, it's an extension, but
Yeah.
yeah, like in retrospect and looking back now, um, a lot of music, if it isn't us collectively working on, again, if it's Beat
Yeah.
Butcher, or if it's me, or if it's
Oh,
Doe,
no.
you know what I mean? Like a lot of people's careers have a tie to SOI, like Stack,
Wow.
Nicki, uh French, Jay-Z, Beyonce. We can just go down the list. Some way, some way, shape, or form, SOI has a hand in a hand in an extension in a lot of people's careers, and building a lot of people's careers as well.
Yeah.
So we've been putting in work
Maybe.
for a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Because when that happens now too, they all another part of SOI history now too. You played a big part in now too. Fly in the Wind. You brought that up last time we spoke now too.
All right.
But after I should have actually shared the first time, but after you brought that up, I was like, damn, I think that was the second GUnit Dipset collab that
Right.
happened.
Right. 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 That was Beamer Benjamin was first, and then that was the first the second GUnit and Dipset collaboration. That's why, like, when it happened, it was so ill. It was
That was
so
like a moment in time.
Yeah. I remember, DJs were playing it in the clubs. It was spinning on the radio, and I didn't have the status that I have now. So like catching a look like that so early,
Yeah.
it was crazy. You know what I mean? Nah, it
I'm
was
still Chris Banks that you never include that on the album. Like, what the hell, yo?
man, it happens. It's all good.
But it's there though. That's what I mean though. It's there for the history because
Oh
a lot
yeah,
of people
absolutely.
don't know. Well, they should
That's
not.
why speaking on it now is important, because like it isn't listed that I produced that, and it's
It's
not on
on
streaming.
YouTube, but they ain't no produced by the Jerm on it.
Right. No, yeah, it's on YouTube. It's on like my mixtapes or wherever it is, but it isn't on streaming platforms. I don't believe it's on streaming
No,
platforms.
it's not. Trust me, I looked.
So, but he says, trust me, I look. Trust me, I look too.
Yo, that's a dope record. I ain't gonna lie. Even the X-Men, somebody commented on our last interview, they're like, yo, it's really dope. Sorry about the X-Men record. And I didn't put two and two together until I actually went back and looked it up. I'm like, oh, I remember I thought this was gonna be for the Logan soundtrack because he had the Wolverine for the
Right.
cover too. But those joints that you produce now too. I was curious that if you would ever push them up on a vinyl or something, not to sell, but just for something for you to have as an archive to know what you've done in this game.
So I'll have a vinyl press up.
Yeah, but not to sell.
Right.
Just in case, we don't know if the internet's gonna last forever.
Yeah. I would definitely do that. I would
Because
definitely.
honestly, I'm not gonna lie, because there may be a time where may do a music purge on YouTube now too. And records like Fly in the Wind may be lost forever now too. But you probably have it on your hard drive. But
Oh yeah.
for a documentary, because maybe in 20 years we don't know what the future holds now too. Because if you look at the history between GUnit and Dipset, I don't know if you saw this now too, but when Dipset was coming up, did you notice the rise of Bloods in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I'm not the only one who noticed that now too, but did you notice that the music started influencing others in the community as opposed just in the music? Like you seen that rise of the Bloods now too.
I mean, that always goes hand in hand,
You
you know.
think so?
It to a certain extent. Like, I mean, Jim and certain people in that camp was associated with Bloods. And if those people are gonna be around in your camp and you're feeding off of that energy and you're telling those stories, yeah, as you rise, the name or whatever group is gonna rise as well to a certain extent. You know what I mean? It might not be in the eye's view, you know what I mean? But it will happen.
Now, I also wanted to notice now too, because like, this man puts out quality. This guy was putting out, independent projects before they were labeled independent projects now too. But with Lloyd Banks now too, finishing up his Cody series now too. What's it like knowing that you have placements on his like official like fifth, sixth, and fourth, fifth, and sixth studio albums as opposed to your classic mixtape joints you guys go?
Honestly, it doesn't really feel much different.
Okay,
The
I
only,
was gonna say,
the
like,
only,
it's some type of different feeling, or is it like it's like, hey man, that's my guy right there.
the only feeling that's different is like it's like I don't want to say relief, but let's just say joy and relief that it's finally on streaming platforms and it's not considered a mixtape. Because
Yeah,
realistically, those mixtapes,
their albums,
oh yeah,
V6,
all the
V5,
V6, um, Cold Corner 2, V6, all the drama tapes, all those tapes, like all that is original work. It's only before the Five and Better series. Some of those records were original records, but some of those records were remixes. He took other people's beats and he spit on
yeah,
them.
it's
But
so yeah.
everything from Cold Corner 2 that people consider mixtapes are albums. Let's not even like fake the funk. Like,
Yeah, okay.
you know what I mean, like just because it's on that piff or mymixtapes.com doesn't mean that it's a mixtape. Those were original pieces of work.
Yeah,
Those were
because
full
there was no
albums.
DJ screaming on it.
Right, right.
Like even with dramas now too, like I noticed now, even with the drama tapes, like the first one, so I don't think there was DJ drama like even on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I always love the DJ versions, but I sometimes I hate them. I'm just like, yo,
DJ for dramas, yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's just like, all right, cool. That's why I loved when he ended up putting out the album without drama. Shout to drama. Ain't no shade to drama, but
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
of course.
sometimes people don't want to hear the record brought back 5 times. You know what I mean? Um, and they don't want nobody screaming. They just want to vibe to the music. You know what I mean? So it's dope that you get both worlds.
DJ Who Kid used to Who Kid, man, you ruined a
Who
lot of my
kid?
yeah.
Who kid used to go crazy?
Oh God. Who Kid just dropped the goddamn song already, man. Come on
But
now.
but I will say that created an energy. So like what drama does, what Who Kid does, those are pieces of history. Those are moments in history. Like when you hear Who Kid start a
Yeah.
tape, you know what it's gonna be.
Woo! Yeah.
Right. When drama starts talking, you know what the drama is. When DJ Khaled starts talking, so it definitely adds to the energy and the feel of the records. So, I think that it's important as well.
So like back to what we were saying now too, like we've believed that it's on streaming platforms now too. So I was curious now too, when actually making a complication out, or sorry, like an album like Destiny to the Riches now too. How come like there's no one like like from S.O.I actually co-producing with you on? But maybe I just didn't read the credits properly.
Um,
Like how
no,
come how
there
come
is
there's no Jay, no Beat Butcher
Doe's on there.
credited though?
I think Doe should be credited.
Oh, like how like they do like featuring, like they don't like they're on producer, but they're still like named as an artist, like featuring Doe Pesci.
Oh yeah, no, I just didn't do that. I just didn't name them
Yeah.
as. But if you
So
go in
they're
the credits, but they're on there. Yeah, I don't think that Jay is on that album. Um, and I don't believe that Beat Butcher's on there, but Doe's on there, and Buddha and Grands is on there.
Yeah, Buddha and Grounds did that latest. I think they did the latest Eastern drama mixtape, didn't they? Book of David.
Yeah. Yep.
I seen that name somewhere now too, because I was like, yo, I remember that beat section that y'all did with V Don and Boots and Ground. I'm like, yo, why does this name seem so familiar? That's what you just said.
Like if we backtrack and we're talking about super groups, you know what I mean? Like S.O.I was already a thing, but me and Buddha had the idea of taking it further and then having it being S.O.I, Buddha and Grands, V Don, Doe. Well, Doe's part of S.O.I, but
like extension of S.O.I.
Right, but it was gonna be the Legion of Boom. So that was supposed to be our name. So it was supposed to be like a real big super group.
Oh, yo, Legion of Boom, yo. You were just the names alone that you guys had alone. V-Don, Buddha and Grass, Jerm, Beat, but yo, that shivers over here. Cause how come that never happened?
Man, everybody just running around doing their own thing. And like I said, like nobody sat down at the time to be like, yo, let's just make this tape and just like focus on the artists that we're either trying to build or that we have extension to. But a lot of the artists that we work with that we're on, you know what I mean, like to get them to actually do the record or to like sign off of the record when we didn't have the status that we had is a lot harder, you know what I mean? But
would you be open to it? Would you be open to the idea
of doing a compilation album?
No, of actually Legion of Boom.
Oh, hell, man, those are my brothers. Like, what? I seen.
You said, man, I kind of want a Legion of Boom now album now too.
Nah, that would be stupid. Honestly, like when it comes to like Banks or Dave or like anybody that I was involved with, if I was to ever be involved as an executive producer, not that I would, my aim would be to create with my homies. You know what I'm saying? So like I would love for it to be 2 or 3 joints from Jerm, Doe, Butcher, Buddha and Grands, V Don, my homie A-List.
But a council project, yo, come on, y'all saying it.
You know what I mean? Like it would be dope because there's a lot of talented producers and we all know each other.
Yeah, that's right. That's what will make it all collective now too, because y'all can feed off each other's energy. It's like, yo, I made this one, and you get inspired from that one and go off to the other. It's like, so I would, hey, yo, please, Dave, yo, Vod, are you watching? Yo, can you get these guys to produce the council album, please?
That would be dope, man. But yo, there's a lot of dudes that are like the new blood that's doing their thing. Obviously, you've had Cartoon on a couple times. From all the producers from the Cody 3 album. So like there's a lot of people making a lot of noise right now and doing their thing. So
what a newer artists in this underground renaissance that you've been paying attention to? Because like SD Knack just did an album of Vita, and then like 3 weeks after it was Naxa with Griselda. So like who's like the artist like of that stature that in this underground that you've been checking out?
Honestly, bro, I haven't been checking for nobody like that, bro.
Oh really? Okay.
I really just been focused on Cali Pop, my boy June Since July, formerly known as Just the Essence. Who else? I've been working with my homeboy Star Jella from Queens.
Those your artists?
Huh?
Those your artists?
Not Star Jella. Just and Cali Pop. Yeah, they like my artists, yeah.
So do you have a label yet, or just it's just kind of producing them and artist development?
It's just we're just producing them and developing them.
Would you ever consider doing an album? I mean, sorry, a label?
Yeah, I would, but for me, like when it comes to order and doing things correctly, I wouldn't want to just be like, oh yeah, I got a label, because I could sit there in front right now and be like, yeah, SOI is a label. You know
Yeah,
what I
exactly.
mean?
Could have just lied. It's like, yo, yeah, S.O.I has been established as a record company.
Yeah, I mean, it is an established company, but for me to sit there and say that I'm signing people, that's a
Yeah.
lot of work, and it's a lot of work and a lot of responsibility. It isn't just producing. Like if I'm signing someone, then I need to make sure that they have shows. I need to make sure that they have management and artist development past the studio. It's a lot of work. It's not something to play with. I never want to sit there and play with anybody's career. I think that when I'm in the studio, I think that's why a lot of people, aside from the humbleness, why a lot of people fuck with me is because I pride myself on making sure that I treat them the way that I want to be treated in the studio. Because I started out rapping, I still do my own music, and I know what irks people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So it's just like, if I'm ever gonna level up and do something like that, I need to make sure that I need the right pieces and the right people around me, because it's not something that I can do myself.
So yeah, I like how that answer is now too, because you could have easily just said, "Well, I have the discography, so it's easy." But it's like what you said now too. You want to do it correctly. You just want to just be like half-assing it.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, it's one thing to do it in the past and
Yeah.
then it gets swept under the rug. Like now I got a name for myself, and it's funny. I was having speaking that I have a name for myself. We was I forgot who I was having the conversation with, but anyway, I was having a conversation with somebody, and I was like, "Yo, I'm legit like some not. I don't want to say famous, but I have eyes on me now in
Oh
different
yeah,
ways
you're famous. So now you're famous.
because I showed up. My live showed up as a YouTube short when I was at the Banks album listening event. Um,
Oh, somebody clipped that and put it as a short.
yeah. So I'm like, yeah. So now I gotta start moving different. You know what I mean? Because before I used to do that shit all the time and never really think nothing of it. But like now, everybody's like, oh, okay, all right. Now we got sneak peek. All right, gotta make sure I write this real quick.
Or
So
clip this and put it on my channel. Like, yeah.
right. So yeah, no, you gotta move correct, man.
So like even like with that now too, like moving correct now too, from somebody who's been working with banks for as long as you have now too, it shows the respect that you two have for each other now too, because he could have just did that one joint with you on cold corner too. It's like, I peace. But you guys maintained a professional relationship throughout, since you first found each other now too, to up into his latest album now too.
Hmm.
So seeing from how he went from his career, not knowing if he was going to keep doing this, to him giving us his most introspective album now too, what's that like from a fan's perspective? Not from your producer here, but from
Right.
because it's different when you listen to your producer.
Right. No, it's ill. It's ill. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and it's like it was one of my homies from high school, and I remember getting the Get Rich or Die Trying album 3 days before it came out,
Oh shit! Okay.
because I used to have they used to be like this.
Awesome.
Yeah, you used CD guy from in the hood. He used to just always get shit early. So I got that shit like 2 or 3 albums early. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 or 3 days early, and I brought it to school, was listening to it. I was a big Banks fan. So just going from that, and then working with them, linking with them, working with them, and then continuing the work is just is dope. Never would have thought that it would have happened like that. Never would have thought it would have happened like that.
Just shows that your dreams do come true.
Absolutely. All you gotta do is sit there and stick with it and be consistent. That's like, if anybody's pursuing anything, any type of project, dream, uh any type of entrepreneur venture, be be disciplined, but the other side of discipline is consistency, because when discipline runs out, consistency will take you where you need to go.
Do sometimes, because I know you're a very humble person now too, but sometimes like when you're just by yourself, do you like listen to some of the records that you've done in the past? It's like, damn, my dreams really came true from this.
Yo, like I say that shit all the time. Like it's it's dope to have plaques. It's dope to get paid. But like when we put music out and I get people reaching out to me from Dubai, Africa, uh,
Fine.
China, Australia, like people I have no business talking to, telling me that my production changed their life. You know what I mean? Like that's really dope. One of my homies through Gist, he ended up doing some time before I actually had a relationship with him. He was when he got out, he was telling me how like a lot of my beats was helping him get through his bid. So just for somebody to tell you that you're giving them strength through your music is dope and so humbling. You know what I mean? Like it's really like what I aim to do. You know what I mean? Like when I'm producing, it's really therapeutic and it's a way for me to deal with my own shit. You know what I'm saying? So if my own shit helps somebody else, then then my job is done. You know what I mean?
I like how you said that now too, because sometimes when I start thinking about my dad, I play showers, and with that production, just that sample alone, it's just like it's very soothing, and just with
Mhm.
the lyric alone, because no artist ever, if that were just an acapella, I wouldn't have the connection as I would to it now.
Mhm.
But when I hear that music, I mean, so when I hear that song "Showers" now too, I can't help but almost cry because it just like it takes me there. It's one of those beats that I will. It's one of those beats that will forever live with me
Mhm.
as the significance of that record and how it helped me since the short time it came out. But like it just the buzz that sometimes hits you like home, like wish that they can live forever. It's like yeah. But that production, it definitely helps my view. So I appreciate
Nah, that's love, man. I'm so glad that you were able to connect with that record like that. And like when I made it, I had the same similar type of feeling prior to Banks getting on it. Like, you know, I was just watching I feel like I already saw this clip already, but basically it was Alchemist. He was in the studio, he was talking, and he was saying that he was talking to one of his friends who is a painter, and he basically asked his friend, when do you know that you're done creating? Like when is your painting complete? And his friend said, when he can step back and look at it and get emotional about it. And I totally understand that because as a producer, I can always constantly add more and more and more. And sometimes you can get lost in that. And sometimes, that can be a producer's downfall, the fact that you don't leave space for artists to do what they need to do. Um, but most of the times where I either step back because it's intentional or whether I'm just in the zone, the moment that I feel it, whether my vision is complete or whether it was I just got smacked with the whole vision. Because sometimes I could just be just creating with no vision. I could just be adding things as I go along, and then I could just sit back and be like, "Whoa, okay, now I understand what this is." And there's been times where, yeah, I'll cry. Yeah, I'm gonna put on a grungy face and be like, "Oh shit, god damn, like this shit is crazy." You know what I mean? Like the moment that emotion comes into place and I feel it is when I know that it's done. So it's like I said in the last interview, like when I say that you feel it in your chest, my intention is to make sure you feel it in your chest. It isn't just about making you cry or like feeling um the heartfelt shit. It could be anything. It could be happiness, it could be anger. But as long as you feel it, that's my aim. It's never to make your head nod. It's to make sure that you're feeling my shit. Pause.
Yeah, no, yeah, of course. But pause very acceptable. But like, but like, but like, I know what you mean by that now too, because like sometimes like you just need that uplifting record or to hear somebody else going through what you're going through with with a beautiful backdrop. That's what changes everything. It can fix somebody's entire day.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you,
Yeah.
I went to work like I didn't want to go to work a couple days ago. And I played that song. And I was like, you know what, man? Like, yeah, anything goes wrong, man, just go back and listen to your music because the music is the one thing that's never gonna leave.
Right.
I know
Right.
that sounds fucked up though, but everybody does.
No, yeah. Listen, when my time comes long down the road and somebody can look back and be like, yo, but that dude Jerm did this and that sound was crazy and he influenced blah 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 blah. And like that's dope. That's the dope shit. You know what I mean? The fact that I can sit there and create I can create an experience off of my experience and my emotions, and somebody can be moved and feel it. Whether it's the same or from a different perspective or a different angle. Because just because you talk about your dad, um, I lost my father when I was young, and I know what it is to um be moved by certain things. I've been in the studio with certain, I'm not going to say no names, but I've been in the studio with other producers and friends, and I'll be making a beat and I'll turn around and they're crying. You know what I mean? So like I know what it is to feel that, but they don't all cry for the same reason. Like I
Yeah,
could be making a beat and I could be crying and I could be thinking about something and then you could be thinking about something totally different, but ultimately the energy is what's moving you. You know what I mean? So like
yeah.
that's really dope. That's really dope that music is able to do that. Because if you really think about it, like music is extremely important and is a savior to mankind in the world. I know that might sound like a little corny, but like
That's true. Oh, that's
if
true.
if you really if you really think about it, and let's just say music doesn't exist, the world becomes a very, very dark place because you think about where music exists. Like it literally exists everywhere. Like it's when you wake up in the morning, you hop in the car, you get in the elevator, you're in the store.
Everywhere.
Like music exists, and it adds. It's of service. It's of service to you, and it adds to your energy and your day and just everything. You know what I mean? Music is so important. I don't think that people really understand that.
No, well, we're like that's why I like with like vinyl now too because like we get that digital sound and then we get vinyl sound now too. And when we play, that's why I can't wait for Cody 3 to be on vinyl. Y'all get that. It's in Lincoln below. But what I want to hear is showers on vinyl because, we can hear it on Bluetooth speakers, but
Hmm.
we play it on an actual vinyl player now too. Like that's when it's really gonna shine right now. Not to say it already doesn't shine, but as
Mhm.
opposed to like, something I could pass on to my kids. It's like, this is what I like. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's dope. And I always prefer analog over digital. Like there's
okay,
just
that's good to know. That's good to know.
you know what I mean? Like anything digital is very harsh. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So like the the pleasant subtleties or like just the calmness of certain music will definitely be enhanced through vinyl. Now, it wouldn't be as as warm and as beautiful as back in the day though,
Oh
because
yeah.
like they were recording on straight analog gear to a certain extent. Like everything is kind of digital because we're still recording in computers. We're not recording on gear, or at least certain artists aren't. But but yeah, no, like I definitely can't wait to hear Showers on vinyl. I definitely just ordered mine. So
Mine too. So yeah, we gotta wait for that in the mail though.
hell yeah.
That clip that you talked about Alchemist now too. Was that the one you just posted on your story today?
I think I did. I think I did repost that.
So what's crazy about that? I watched that entire interview last year. No, it was earlier during the year. It was March, February, somewhere around that. But the start of the year, I was doubting myself for left, right, and center. remember just randomly watching that interview. Alchemist in that interview. Checking yourself is cool. Doubting yourself isn't. Check yourself. Don't doubt yourself.
Right.
The day after that, when I checked myself, I got the Jim Jones interview. So it's
Fire.
certain things like that. It's just certain. That's why I wanted you to come on and do this interview now too, because I want somebody to watch what I got from that Alchemist, what they hear from you. Because, like I said, you're famous right now, and there's going to be a lot of eyes on you now too. But I want people to know the man outside of the gym, if that makes sense. Like I want them to know who you are as a person, because when they just see like the gym, they're like, all right, they don't think nothing of it. But when they actually stumble across your interview and actually watch, they're like, oh, he's a humble guy.
Right.
The very first time I ever heard of you was like the Cold Corner 2. I was like, man, this guy's not going to reply to me, man. This guy produced for Lloyd Banks, man. Like, this guy produced for, like, a lot of well-known artists. But when you said you were down for the interview for the first one, oh, shit, he's humble.
Yeah.
But, like, that's rare nowadays.
Right. No, I appreciate you giving me the platform for people to, look behind the curtain and get to see who I am. But I don't really do a lot of interviews.
I know. I've been trying to find every single one you've done for this one. Yes, sir. You don't do much.
Yeah, I don't really do a lot of interviews. I think over time I've gotten a little better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, like for the most part, like I usually keep to myself. And I really like the music to speak for itself. I don't get wrapped up in the hype of like being on social media and letting people into my life. And like that's like for me, like that's very separate and should remain separate. Like my private life has no business. It is no business to anyone else unless I allow you to see that. And I think that music suffers and artists suffer because of the fact that people have to sell themselves more than the music. And because of the fact that everything is such fast pace, like you think about now, people appreciate singles the same way that they do albums.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they would treat it like an album.
Right. So it's like you can drop an album and then the next week people want to know what's next. You know what I mean? It's not like back in the day where you got an album, you got Get Rich or Die Trying, and you're going through the credits and like, yo, this person did this and this single's out right now. I wonder what the next single's gonna be. And it's a moment. Like it's legit a moment. We don't really have that no more. Like there's certain artists that can still create that. Yeah. But it's very short-lived. It's not the way it used to be. And I think that's because of how society is and how fast-paced everything is and how technology has its advantages and disadvantages, but it is what it is.
So before I let you go, what's the most track that you get hit up about when they actually find you on social media? Like, I remember you did Game Life, or I remember you did Fire. Like, what's the most record that people bring up to you that you know?
No Love.
Okay, Cold Corner 2. Wow, okay.
Yeah, No Love. No Love. No Love.
Would you say that's most people's introduction to you? Is the No Love track?
I would say the
or the Cold Corner 2 mixtape.
I would say Cold Corner 2 is like the introduction to me. Just because I had so many joints on there.
Brother did it's my favorite one. Yes, sir. You did that one.
Yeah, I appreciate it. But I was really proud of that beat. I made that for Eminem.
Predator?
Huh? No, not Predator. No Love.
Oh, No Love. Wow.
I made No Love with the intention of giving it to Eminem. Did we talk about this in the last interview?
Oh, we did it, but yeah, let's talk about it right now.
So I had a link. I think M was working on whatever he was working on at that time period. And I had a link to send him some stuff. So I made that and I was just like, yo, I know M would
Yeah, you would kill that.
And would kill this, or he would definitely appreciate something like this. But it didn't land. I don't even know if it actually got to him or not. But it definitely was Eminem inspired. Like, I loved Eminem growing up. He definitely inspired me production wise just as much with the rap. And when I got it to Banks, Banks was like, "Yo, this is crazy." And then Banks thought it was a sample. Like, when we, after the fact that we doing it, he was just like, "What sample is that?" I was like, "That ain't a
I
sample,
didn't know that.
all original." He was like, "Word." He was like, "That's good shit."
Damn, no
Um,
focus for Eminem. Damn, I'm not gonna be able to hear that record the same now. Yeah.
yeah, man. We have this other record that we've had for years that we talked about. I don't even know if I should say that, but I mean, I guess you can see where that might go. But
Oh
yeah,
shit! Okay, okay. I see where you hit that. Yo, you
you know
beat
what I
me.
mean? That would be dope if we can make that happen. If you know, but yeah, like that beat is definitely special to me just because I know what it was supposed to do. Like, if you listen to that, it's gonna do the same thing how Showers makes you feel. Like, the emotion there is so heavy and so present. You know what I mean? And when Banks, that's another very personal record that Banks went deep on. You know what I mean? Um,
Where we get those moments.
yeah, I'm I love all records like that. Like, not just Banks, like just emotional.
When they tap into that emotional side.
Yeah, when you can tap into that and just really deliver on that level, that's why I love, like, again, going back to Eminem, like, M shit was so raw and so honest. It really, regardless of some of his thoughts being off the walls, like,
Sure, yeah, he did some serious violence.
when he tapped into his emotions, like, it was very, very clear, very honest, very pure. Like, I don't think that anybody can ever deny that about Eminem.
See, now that you say that now too, that was when he was. I just did the years in my head. That's when he was recording Recovery. Yo, if No Love would have been on Recovery, holy shit,
Hmm.
bro, you got a diamond plaque right there.
That would have been crazy.
But is there any other, not for Eminem, just for any other artist, but is there any other songs, I mean, sorry, beats that you submitted to other artists that never got to them, but you used later on, like No Love One? And then we'll wrap it up from there.
No, it's all good. Yeah,
Oh, okay, okay, just want to make sure.
I'm good. I'm good. We're good. I'm trying to think of a specific record. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but I will say that a lot of records there's a lot of records that never came out with certain artists, and then there's been, like, a lot of opportunities and, like, meetings that I've had with certain artists that I wish records would have came from that. Like, my first trip to LA, I met with Nipsey, and I forget which studio this was. But it wasn't the studio that he had last. I
Was
feel
it the
like
one in Burbank, the one we had with Game?
it might have been. It might
Okay, it doesn't matter which
actually, no,
studio.
it wasn't Burbank. But anyway, I went to the studio. It was me. Buddha didn't get there yet. He was on a flight. It was me, Grands, and Beat Butcher. And we went to go link him, and then as soon as we walked in the room, he was like, "All right, who's going first? Like, who's
Oh
playing?"
shit.
Got straight to it. So Buddha, I'm sorry, Beat Butcher and Grands played joints first, and I was on my computer getting my folder ready because I didn't have everything together, right? So I get to playing some joints, and Nipsey's like nodding his head. He takes like 6 joints from me. At the end, he's like, "Yo, you got some shit, cuz." You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yo.
yeah, and that was really dope because he wasn't Nip the way that we know Nip to be now.
Victory lap.
Um, yeah, but it might have been like Victory Lap or a little. I mean, yeah, prior to Victory Lap. But it was way before Slauson Boy 2.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, it was like years before. a lot of my I mean, I don't have a picture or a video, but on my Instagram I archive a lot of posts, so like you don't even really get to see like the full history of a lot of things that I'm connected to. But yeah, he took 6 joints, and um Jay Stone actually made that meeting happen. And I want to say, not that he told me this, I think he told another party that Nip possibly might have recorded to some of the joints that I gave him. So I wish I would have been able to hear that. You know what I mean?
We never know it because he has a lot of music in the vault, and we still never got to promote through a second album from Victory Lap.
Right.
And if it's I really hope those placements that you got actually land on this, because we all know there's going to be another promotionous Nip album after his death, because we never got one after Victory Lap. So, I hope we get this.
I hope. I mean, if it happens, that'll be dope. I get funny with those albums because like sometimes it can feel very put together. It can feel like very forced and put together, like if it's not done correctly. You know what I mean?
I don't think his estate will do that because, like, look what happened after he died. Because I remember people was expecting like, okay, Game's gonna try to make a cash out or things like that, but we never got that Nip album. So I think that is what's being worked on, but we don't know. So if it is, and if they do put it together, it's gonna be another big one.
You never know. You never know.
Since you archive a lot of things, how come?
I think I just wanted to like start fresh, and I'm actually about to put out an album. So that was really like the real reason why I archive things. So I just wanted it to be a fresh start and people to just focus on what I was doing right then. But yeah, I got a project that I'm working on now. I've been doing for the past 2 weeks, and moving forward I'm gonna be doing like just remixes and content, like original songs that I have with some of my homies. But yeah, it's gearing up to a solo album that I'm doing.
Yeah, I like how you said remixes now too, because like I can't listen to the original anymore now too, since I heard your remix. But the Future Kanye West I won.
You found that?
When I found that remix, I'm like, I can't even listen to the original no more. I got this is the original right here, produced by the Jerm. Yeah, that's my shit right there.
Nah, when I made that was like really dope.
Completely like out of left field too. When I found that too, I'm like, all right, let me check it out.
Where'd you find that, on YouTube?
Yeah, I found it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah, because I know on SoundCloud.
Jerm, S.O.I, because I wanted to find interviews by you, and that's what popped up. I'm like, I thought it was the official track, and I was like, then I read it, I'm like, oh, just the remix. But I don't. Did I run and listen to the original? I'm like, nah, I'll stick with the remix.
Nah, I appreciate that. Good shit.
But can we expect like more of that too? Like with this album that you said you got coming up, because it's going to be your follow-up album from Destiny to the Riches you released 5 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this album, it's a small EP. It's actually me being an artist, because I'm on Destiny to the Riches. I'm just like I go by the other name. I go by Soon on Destiny to the Riches. So
shit! So you actually like gonna have vocals on this one?
Yeah. So like, if you go back to Destiny to the Riches, if you see anything that says Soon, that's me singing. Or
I did not put that together right there. Now, too, because I thought that was a completely different artist.
Nah, that's me.
Oh, I didn't know it's you.
But that was like a way to, like when I was an artist, when I was rapping rather, I was going by Soon, like I said, and when I did Destiny to the Riches, a lot of like the ideas that I was coming up with, because I'm always going to be in artist mode, just to like reference ideas, or just to like put things together to like give to other artists and stuff like that, or if I'm just doing it for myself just to see how it sounds. But a lot of those things that I was doing prior to actually making the album Destiny to the Riches, a lot of people were like, yo, like, this is dope. Like, yo, just put it out. But you know, if I'm just being fully honest, like um soon was a way for me to stay mystique and
Yeah, you
hide the fact.
definitely did that on that. I ain't gonna lie.
It's a dangerous game. It's a dangerous game when if I come out here and they're just like, oh, Jerm's trying to be an artist, or Jerm's trying to rap, or Jerm's trying to sing. Like, I'm not trying to do anything. Like, I'm just being me. And you know, if people mess with it, they mess with it. If you don't, then just go to the next. You know what I mean? Like, I think that I was in my head and trying to protect my producer name because I don't want people to be like, oh, bro, like just stick to producing. Not that I care, but I've created a good name for myself, something that I don't want to tamper with or to have people be blindsided by the artistry side. But this project that I'm doing now, like I'm not going to be going by soon. It's just going to be Jerm. But it's a very personal album because like after Destiny to the Riches, even leading into Destiny to the Riches, uh I was taking care of my grandparents. They ended up actually passing in 2019. But when they passed, COVID had hit, and you know things just got like really quiet, and I was like in my emotions, slight little depression, and I had to vent, you know what I mean? So it's a good representation of me going from that space to where I am now. Just going through my emotions and just being free. If you go on my page, there's actually a song that I released a few months ago called Free for Love. And that's me as an artist singing on that. But that's actually the last song on the album. And you know, like again, like I just said, it starts off of me dealing with losing them and then being free for love, quote unquote.
I think that album is gonna help a lot of people once they tap into it because like, it's like what you said now too. You want to make music that's gonna hit you in your chest. So I think with you just giving that concept to us, I think that's really gonna do like a lot of damage because damn, I can't believe that you were on Destiny to the Riches, and I didn't put that two together now too. But it's like what you said now too. Was that a little bit of inspiration from MF Doom? You
Um,
know how Doom has that mystique, right? Like he goes by
right.
different sometimes when he raps, and we don't put that together till like years after. So like, was that like kind of the idea when you wanted like not to like mesh the two together? Because like we don't see that nowadays now too because like people are like I want to use the name that's well known if that makes sense.
Right. No, I mean it could go both ways. Like I can not be in my head and all, and I could just be like, well, you know what? I do have a name and I do know that my music is good enough to put out and people are gonna mess with it. So I can just use my name and catapult off of that. You know what I mean? But you know, it's all a matter of how you play it.
I like the
Um,
two different aliases now too because unless you're really tapped in you're gonna so I remember hearing it, I'm like this guy kind of sounds like Jeremy but I didn't want to make that assumption. I was like yo are you that other guy on that album but okay now we know.
yeah, I mean, I do like the idea of still going by soon, even if it's known or not known, just because um
It holds.
I mean it's been my name. I've been attached to that name since birth.
Yeah.
You know what
So
I
it's kind
mean?
of hard
So
just to not do
there's a whole group, of people that just know me as soon. I mean, obviously they know me as Germ as well, but like
yeah,
they know me as soon.
more than
But but I also felt like with this project, I didn't it doesn't matter to me, it doesn't matter who likes it or doesn't like it. I definitely appreciate the people that are gonna like it and that are gonna connect with it and they're gonna live with it and stream it. But I didn't make it for anybody. I didn't actually even really I mean, I made it for myself because I vented, but I honestly I made it for my grandparents. So like um I feel like I have a responsibility, and I owe it to them to just be me and not hide behind my father's name. Like I need to be Jerm. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm just putting out this album. And if I do put out another album as an artist, or if I just focus on just the production and we do another Destiny to the Riches, who knows? But when I made this album and I made the decision to put it out, I wanted to stand behind the fact that it is a representation of me and my gift to them.
I think that's something that, years after you're gonna look back on and you're gonna really appreciate it. You're gonna appreciate it at the time of release now too. But as time goes on, I think, if you do get it pressed up on vinyl, you're gonna throw that down. It's like, damn, it's like I made them not, I gave the world another album, but I gave them a piece of me. That's what really counts.
Right. Yo, honestly, I don't even realize how I don't even I didn't realize that I already did what you asked. I did press up Destinies to the Riches on vinyl. I have a vinyl of Destiny to the Riches.
Oh, okay. Okay. So with that now too, so you're gonna do vinyl for the other one now too. So when that one comes out, we're gonna get you back on the show. We're gonna break down do a track by track analysis, because we're gonna do it for Destiny for the Riches, but I was like, I need to know more of this guy before we do an album breakdown. Now you said you got one coming. All right, we're gonna get you back on and we'll break that down. But Jerm, we've been speaking for a while, man. Like I said, you're always welcome back on, my guy. Anything that you want people to know, I'm put your website in the link below. But anything else where they could find you at?
Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, the Jerm _SOI. Website is thejerm.com. My project is coming soon. I will be revealing the name soon. And just stay tuned. I got these remixes / original songs that I'm putting out right now. I did something with Cali Pop and her homegirl Yaya, the song called Denial that I did something for. You can find that on my SoundCloud, as well as I did something with my little homie The Outlet. Put out a song called Racks. I'm most likely gonna be releasing something tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not gonna tell you. Well, I mean, I guess maybe by the time you drop this, it'll already be out.
It'll be out by when y'all see this.
Right. My homie Conflict. I'm doing something with my homie Conflict, and I got a few lined up as well, and I will be dropping the first single to the project soon, and I got a couple placements that I can't speak on that are lined up. Hopefully those will be coming out soon this year. And man, just keep your eyes and ears to the street, so to say, and just keep staying tuned with me, and just more shit is coming.
If y'all made it to this far now too, go back and check my man's discography of Spread of Infection, man. Because S.O.I, man, may not be active, but it's still one of my favorite super groups of producers out there. Jerm, man, appreciate you coming on the show, my guy. Welcome back anytime. And hey, you be safe and blessed, my guy.
Thank you, bro. Always a pleasure.
All right, one, my guy.